Hi, my name is Josh. My project is President Roosevelt. The reason I chose this project is because we know how it was going in Germany, but do you know how it was going in the US? The only thing to fear is fear itself. That's from Franklin Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt had polio disease. Polio is a highly contagious viral infection that can lead to paralyzing, breathing problems, and even death. Franklin Roosevelt had the type of polio disease that paralyzed him from the waist down. That means he either had to have a cane, someone helping him, or leg braces to walk. How is this topic related to the Holocaust? Roosevelt was the president during the Holocaust. Another problem during the Holocaust is that he had to help Europe by sending military help over. But the Congress and the people did not agree. The reason the American citizens did not agree is because they thought it was not their war to fight. Roosevelt kept getting letters from Europe saying if he didn't help them now, he'd have to face Hitler alone. During Roosevelt's presidency, they had a law. It said they could not trade or give military supplies to other countries that are in battle. He looked for loopholes to get stuff to Europe. Roosevelt instructs the military to classify various military supplies as surplus. They can now be sold to U.S. Steel, a private company. U.S. Steel can then turn around and sell the equipment to British. After one time of doing that, President Roosevelt could not do it again, because once he did it once, he couldn't do it twice. Otherwise, other people would catch him. Then he could be brought up to the Senate or get impeached.
While Churchill led England through its darkest hour, President Roosevelt had something else on his mind. He had to think about the upcoming election, if he was going to run or not.
No American president has ever ran for a third term. Most people didn't even think President Roosevelt was running for a third term. The reason why is because it was so unconstitutional and no one has ever done it before. President Roosevelt was running against New York salesman Wendell Willkie. What made Wendell Willkie so hard to beat was that he knew Roosevelt's plan. Wendell Willkie's candidate plan was to say, hey, watch out, President Roosevelt was going to take us into a war. At this point, England's Prime Minister was begging the President to send him over military stuff. But the timing was terrible, because if President Roosevelt sent anything over, he would lose all of his votes, and people would vote for Wendell Willkie. Germany was starting to bomb London, and American citizens were hearing about it. And then after London, what was next? America was. To protect the nation, President Roosevelt held its first draft. The thing was, this draft was 2 weeks before the election. After a long wait, President Roosevelt becomes the first third-term president in American history. After President Roosevelt wins the election, he feels freer. American citizens start to understand that if President Roosevelt sends supplies over, America will not have to fight in the war itself. On October 31st, 1941, a German submarine sinks a U.S. destroyer. On April 12, 1945, President Roosevelt died. Roosevelt was sitting for a portrait in Warm Springs, Georgia. President Franklin D. Roosevelt spoke what were probably his last words. I have a terrific headache. Then he fainted. He died 2 hours later of a cerebral hemorrhage.